I landed in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I'm waiting for my bag. An interesting thing happened on the plane. There's a young, good looking, 6 foot something tall, blonde Dutch guy sitting beside me, and he says to me, because my nose was sticking out of the mask, he says, excuse me, would you mind putting your mask on properly? And I said, sure, no problem. Does it upset you? Are you, because I wouldn't want, in case there was something wrong with him, or maybe he's near someone in his life who has is suffering. So I lifted the mask up over my nose, but the problem is I was a bit concerned because my mask had a hole in it. So if you lift it up, the hole comes out, because it's the hole's really convenient for breathing. So I couldn't really look at him, because if he saw the hole he wouldn't like it. So I looked at the air hostess, and she was doing the talk that they do at the start of the journey, and she saw the hole, because I was hoping that she would. And then afterwards she came over and gave me a new mask, a clean one, with no hole in it, because she said, because the one you have has a hole in it and there's no point in wearing it, which was exactly my point in the first place. But after a while I bought a packet of crisps. I didn't buy them, sorry. I had a packet of Kettle salted crisps, and I took a crisp out and I wanted to eat it, but I realised that I had a mask on and I wasn't able to eat it. And I was thinking maybe I could get it through the sides, but it would look kind of foolish and it might upset the guy, so I wasn't sure whether to eat the crisp or to leave the crisp there. Like, if I had my old mask on with this one with the hole in it, it would have been perfect. It would have kept everybody happy. But I just stared at the crisp. I genuinely didn't know what to do. So the new mask was good. I realised it was clean. It was kind of fresh. I suppose it's because there's less carbon dioxide in it, so it's not as bad for you. And I know a lot of people in the Spanish flu didn't die from the flu; they died from the carbon dioxide. And I was thinking about that. So maybe we could just change the masks every hour. But then, what about the turtles? What about Greta Thunberg? I mean, what would Greta do? I don't know. I just stared at the crisp, and the crisp was strong, but it was also had a bit missing. It was a bit broken, and it kind of reminded me of myself. It's kind of like, it's strong but also fragile, and that's what happens to men who break up. What would Jesus do? I asked myself, what would Jesus do? And Jesus would treat the guy with love. So I asked him permission to eat the crisp. But how do you ask someone permission to eat a crisp without sounding sarcastic? I didn't want him to think I was mocking him. Like, excuse me, would it be okay if I take my mask off to eat the crisp? It could come across the wrong way, and I genuinely didn't want to upset him. So I looked the other way, and I thought about it, and I looked at the aisle, and I saw this kid playing her computer. She had a laptop and she was looking at Disney cartoon, and this snotty nose, that's what kids do, and they're actually 4 times more contagious. And she didn't have to wear a mask, and I was thinking, the lucky little kid. And she looked at me, and she was kind of like, I felt she was mocking me with my mask on. I just felt that she was having a good time, and she was mask free. And I think, anyway, I decided to ask the guy. I said, listen, excuse me, can I ask you a question? I just opened a packet of crisps, and I have a crisp here, and I was going to eat it, but I didn't want to upset you, because, and he said, no, it's not me at all, it's just the rules. And I said, all right, but if you or anyone is sick or something, I can happily eat my crisps when we land. It's not that important to me. And he said, no, honestly, you can eat the crisps, no problem. It's just that they're the rules. And I was like, oh, okay, right. So I ate the crisp. It was delicious, actually. And so my advice is, if you ever have a packet of crisps, just keep one out for a while. It really increases the enjoyment when you wait for things. I learned that today. It was a delicious crisp, and the rules are the rules. I suppose he's right. Maybe we should just follow the rules without questioning them. But I find that hard to do. Something else happened. So the kid then, I was like, do you eat the crisps to the side, or should I take the mask off, or should I go under? I decided to go under. That was the best way to eat a crisp and put it back, because if you go over, then it slips down and your nose could stick out, and that could encourage a neighbour to start talking to you again that you may or may not want. And or the side ones doesn't really work. But the kid saw me trying to eat the crisp, and she definitely laughed at me this time. She was mocking me. The kid was mocking me, and snot-nosed little brat that she was. So I got thirsty from all the crisp eating, and I got a bottle of water, and I asked the lady who was working there, who was very nice, the air hostess. I said, "Excuse me, how can I drink the water with my mask on?" And she looked at me as if I was the fool, and she said, "You can take the mask off." And I said, "Can I take it fully off, or do I just take it off and drink and put it back?" And she goes, "No, you're not in prison, of course you can take it off." And I was relieved. So I took it off, and I drank my water slowly, and I ate my crisps slowly. It lasted for pretty much all of the flight. I'm just getting here now in my bag. I think it's landed already. This is the best thing. This is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm just going to have videos in airports. It makes things way more fun. So the kid saw me then with no mask on at the end, and she looked at me, and I saw pride in her eyes, and she smiled. And at the end of the flight, just as we landed, the guy beside me put on his phone before we were allowed to put on the phone, at the dangerous time, the one that could have made the pilot crash and kill us all. And I wanted to say something, I wanted to say, "Listen, you're risking our lives," and call the police. But I suppose I didn't really feel he was risking our lives. I felt safe that he was on the phone, and I just wished him well. So there you go.